Hi guys, 18dap here and welcome to the latest and final home matchday preview of the season. It is Doncaster Rovers versus Barrow in a huge game at the top of League 2. Let's get the video started. So guys, welcome to the latest matchday preview, Doncaster Rovers versus Barrow in League 2. And as I said in the intro, a massive game at the top of League 2 to get into the playoffs, which is an extremely tight picture coming into this one. But as always, if you're an existing subscriber, thank you so much for supporting the channel throughout this season. It's been greatly appreciated. Over 3,400 of you beautiful people now. Hopefully more join in for future content coming to the channel next season. And if you are new to the channel and this is the first video that you've seen and you enjoy it, please consider clicking subscribe down below. But this is a format that we go through match previews, look at previous meetings between the two clubs, current form across all competitions. I choose a Doncaster Rovers player to say a few words about, and then I choose Barrow's one to watch in my opinion. But as I always say, you know your club much better than I do, so if there's somebody else that's worthy of mentioning at that point, get them in the comments down below. And then we finish the video with 3 predictions. Predicted team lineup thanks to FanHub. Me and the family's got a predictions league table, so there's an update on that. And then the all important, very important score prediction at the very end. So without further ado, let's get into previous meetings. Donny and Barrow have faced off a total of 61 times in our history. Rovers winning 22, Barrow winning 20, and we've shared the spoils on 19 occasions, so fairly even across our history. And drilling down into the last 5, we have to go back some way, so I wouldn't really take these two into consideration. Back in the 71-72 season in the old Division 4, we traded blows. It was a 1-0 defeat at home, and then we won 2-1 away from home. And then last season in League 2, traded blows once again with a 2-0 win, 2-0 defeat away from home, sorry, and then we won 1-0 at the Eco Power. And then earlier this season, it was a 3-2 defeat. So fingers crossed, the pattern that we see of trading blows each season is leaning towards a Doncaster Rovers win on this one. But patterns don't always come true in football, but we can hope that that continues in this one and the Rovers get a vital win in the chase for the playoffs. Current form does lean towards Doncaster getting that vital win, but it isn't going to be a very easy game. I'm having to add another row onto this graphic because Doncaster Rovers have won their last 8 games. Normally we do 5, but yeah, 8 wins on the bounce. Barrow, on the other hand, a little bit hit and miss in their last 8, 2 draws, 2 wins, and then 3 defeats and a draw. So without a win in 4, which is not great form going into the playoffs. So they'll be wanting to bounce back and get a victory tomorrow at the Eco Power. But on Donny, we continue our fine run of form, winning 8 on the bounce, as I say, and that's not been done in 77 years. We're 2 games away from equaling the club record of 10 wins on the bounce. But we take it 1 game at a time, and the next one is Barrow at home. Results couldn't have been better for us last weekend, and we got a favour midweek with the Barrow Crawley game, where that finished 1-1. But for me, over the last 10 weeks or so, we've played with no pressure for so long, but because of the results this last week, it's now in our hands. We win our remaining 3 games, we're in the playoffs, and I'm just hoping that with so many people believing and so many people jumping on, even people that aren't fans of Doncaster are starting to notice it, I'm just hoping that the pressure doesn't get to the team. I'm hoping that they relish this whole kind of situation that we find ourselves in, which we didn't expect in January, and we continue to perform and continue to get those wins, because if we go into the playoffs in this sort of form, nobody will want to play us. So yeah, looking forward to tomorrow's game. Hopefully we can continue this winning run. Barrow, an absolute incredible season for them. They've been up there in and around it for the majority of the season. A little bit of a wobble recently has put them in a position where they're looking over the shoulders a little bit, but they'll want to make that playoff spot a bit more certain tomorrow with a win and stop Donny's incredible run of form, and that'd be a really confidence booster for Barrow going into the playoffs. They've lost the least amount of games in the current teams that are currently in the playoffs as well. I think they've lost 11, whereas MK Dons may have lost 14, I think, off the top of my head. But they have conceded the least as well, conceding 49 goals in the games that they've played, which is 12 less than anybody else in and around them. They're also the lowest scoring team though in the playoffs, with 58 goals scored, which is 10 less than those currently in the playoffs. So defensively solid, but don't score too many, which hopefully Doncaster can exploit and get the win tomorrow. Moving on to player profile, so for this one I've gone with Hakeeb Adelaide. What a player. Right winger, 27-year-old, 8 goals, 6 assists since joining from Lincoln on loan, and it's just been an absolute joy to watch. Really thoroughly enjoyed watching Hakeeb play in the red and white hoops. He plays it with fluidity, he plays it with freedom, and I think the way that he plays it allows other players to, or gives other players the confidence to play their game as well. I think Molyneux's performances have increased and improved because the pressure's not quite on him to deliver all the time. Hakeeb's taking that pressure off him, and Molyneux has been able to perform as well. But they do say never fall in love with a lone player, and unfortunately I fell hard with Hakeeb. He's just made such a massive difference to the team, and he's a player that gets everybody off the seats, not just on the edge of the seats, which is great. And for me, I'm just hoping that he's enjoyed his time enough to kind of tip the decision our way if he has been offered a contract, and there'll be teams in League One going for his signature. Hopefully his enjoyment at Doncaster and the way that he's performed and been accepted and adored by the fans, hopefully that just gives him a bit of something to think about, and it does tip in our favour. I'm hoping so, because I'd love to see him in a Rovers shirt next season regardless of the division that we end up in. Moving on to the opponents one to watch, so there's a couple of key players for Barrow. You look at Don Telford, Cole Stockton, they're always going to be a threat at this level, but for me I have gone with Emile Aqua, 23 years old, centre forward, and it's not prolific by any means over his career, 170 appearances, 28 goals, 2 assists, but I think he's just starting to kind of find his feet and find a bit of form. Really good season last season in the National League, scoring 13, and he scored 8 goals and 2 assists this season, 7 or 8 goals with 2 assists this season. So he's made that step up from National League to League 2, and I think he'll have a bit of confidence after scoring midweek as well in that 1-1 draw. So for me, I think Emile Aqua could be one to watch for Barrow tomorrow, but they're a good team, they're well drilled, they're up there for a reason, and it's going to be a tough game, and I think to a man we've got to beat and win those individual battles. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one, but for me I've singled out Emile Aqua. But as I always say, if you think somebody else should be in this, get them in the comments down below. Moving on to my predicted team lineup, so this is thanks to FanHub. If you've not downloaded the app yet, please go ahead and do so. Plenty of features to get your team stuck into. You get rewarded for following your team as well. I have remained unchanged with my prediction. I'm going Lowe to Tyler in goal, Sterry, Oluwu, Wood and Maxwell as the back four, with Bailey, Craig and Biggins in the middle, with Adelaide and Molyneux on the wings, and Joe Ironside up front on his own. Hopefully that is the 11 that's put out there, and it's the 11 that can get us 3 points tomorrow. Onto the Predictions League table. So if you're new to this, me and the family predict scoreline for every single league game. If we get it spot on, we get 3 points. If we get the outcome of the game right but not the scoreline, we get 1 point. If we get it completely wrong, it is no points. And yeah, Chris and Max did all right. They both went with wins last weekend, and they didn't get the score right, so they get an extra point. And that's pulled them a little bit closer to me. I'm still top on 32 points, Chris in second on 28, Max in third on 25, and Dad in fourth on 12 because he went with a good old Desmond Tutu. And that takes me on to the all-important score prediction, and it's a game that I'm really looking forward to. I'm hoping that the crowd is big. I'm hoping that the people of Doncaster are realising that there's some superb football on show, and they come and support the lads and push it over the line, because this could be the point where we break into the playoffs depending on all the results around us. And then with Colchester and Gillingham coming up, it is extremely tight. Playing a team above us, playing a team just below us, I think one slip up anywhere and it's done and dusted for us. But yeah, it is in our hands. Just hoping that pressure doesn't turn the form around. It's nervy, put it that way. In January, I thought it was just going to peter out. Well, I thought we were going to get relegated at one point, but when we secured survival, it was just going to be a petering out season, job done. But this run of form is absolutely incredible, and as a Doncaster fan, we never seem to have a calm end to a season. So in typical Doncaster Rovers fashion, I think it will go down to the last day. I don't think we will continue this running form. You probably already know it by now. I've gone with 2-1 defeats for so long now. I'm sticking with 2-1 defeats. A run of form will end at some point. It could be tomorrow against a very good Barrow team. I hope it's not though. Well, that's what I'm going to go with, and that will ease the worries of Barrow. I think they'll be in the playoffs if they win, and yeah, we will see how it goes. I'm really looking forward to an entertaining game though. But that's where I'm going to leave this one. If you've enjoyed it, stick a big thumbs up on it for us, please. Comments in the section down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.